Hi there. Today we're talking about a unique way of bringing new potential supporters to your ministry's vision, all in a relaxing, welcoming environment. By the way, my name is Paul Hosh, and I am the CEO of Nonprofit Fundraising Management. This is where our mission is to use modern fundraising to help Black ministries thrive. Now, particularly, I'm talking about salons as well as fundraisers. These are small, intimate gatherings held in someone's home. Usually, the host is someone that is committed to your mission, and they invite their friends, and you invite your friends. This is one of the most powerful, impactful tools I have ever used. Now, the first thing you do is choose the right host, and the host is everything. The host sets the tone. And you want someone that's passionate about your program, that understands your ministry, and is well connected. And it's very difficult for people to say no, and people want to come to visit in their homes. It is important that they're well connected because you're going to ask them to invite their friends, and then you're also going to invite your connections of the church within the area of their homes. So it's going to be a mingling of two groups of people. So it's very important that your host is well connected, well liked, has a home that people want to visit. And the next thing you want to do is set the mood by having an engaging agenda. It's very important to keep it casual, but you want to make sure it's somewhat formal, that you're sticking to a pretty good timeline. And what you want to do is you want to have the host open the event by thanking everybody for coming to the event and why they're connected to your ministry or programs. Next, you want the head pastor or lead program officer to speak a little bit about the program. Then after that, you want to bring up some of the beneficiaries of your programs, of why you're there. This is why you're there, to show that your programs are making an impact in the community. Next, you want to open the floor up with questions. And you may want to start off with the first few questions by asking the beneficiary why the program has been impactful in their life. Then you open it up to everyone else. But you want to make sure that the questions are in line with your mission. Sometimes individuals get a little too personal with the questions, and you want to make sure to steer those questions towards more positive areas. In other words, you want to focus on where the beneficiaries are going, not currently where they are. So you want to look at the future, at the positive future, and not the negative past. Because the reason that you do this is you really want to make sure you maintain the dignity of your beneficiaries while they're there. And also keep in mind, this is not church. You're not giving a sermon. It's not your goal to have people come and sit in the pews in this particular event. Your goal is to get individuals to come down and visit your programs. That's what you want to do. So you're not giving a sermon. You're talking about your programs and how they're impacting the community. Now, as I mentioned, you want to make sure that you're giving some impactful stories, that you're talking about why this program is important. So this is where, as I mentioned earlier, this is where the beneficiaries come in. They talk about your programs and how they've helped them and how they helped move the needle. This is why you're there. You're showing that your programs are making a difference in the community. Next, you want to highlight the impact of the program. You want to talk about the numbers that the program is affecting. You don't want to get into too much quantity, but you want to talk about how many people you're individually helping with the program. But you want to really stick towards the quality of the program. You may want to relay one of the impact stories. Next, you want to really get into getting individuals to come down and visit the program. That's the goal of this event. It's not a fundraiser. You do want to talk about the cost of the program, so you plant the seed in the individual's mind, but you're not asking people to write checks at this event. What you're asking people to do is to come down and visit the program in person. That's what you really want. And to give you an example, I'll relay a quick story. Once I was doing a salon at someone's home, and at the end of the salon, the host came up to me and said, "Hey, Paul, how much money did we raise at this event?" And I said, "Oh, I don't know. I think someone wrote us a couple checks, maybe $5,000. And this was in a very wealthy area. And she looked at me in abject horror and said, Paul, I could have, made the hors d'oeuvres cost $5,000 if I wanted to. She said, next time I'll just write you a check for $5,000. And I said, Mrs. Donor, thank you. I really appreciate that. And we'll take a check from you anytime. However, I believe you asked the wrong question. The question was, how much money did we raise from now until the first time you did a salon in your home, which was 3 years ago? And she said, oh, okay, well then what is the answer? And at that time, it was $350,000. And the reason is people didn't write us a check to go away. What they did was they committed to coming down and visiting the facility. And once they came down and saw the work that we were doing, saw the impact that we were having in the community, it was all over. They got involved, they wrote checks, they brought their friends. So remember, this is not a fundraiser, this is a friend-raiser. This is to get people down to the facilities to see what it is we're doing. That's when the impact will happen, once they see with their own eyes. Next, you want to embrace the power of a small gathering, the impact that you can have. You can mingle around the room, you can meet with everyone. That's the purpose of having it in someone's home. So make sure you go around the room and you meet everyone. You get everyone's name, you get your staff, your volunteers to get to know everyone, you get your beneficiaries to introduce themselves and to talk about the impact that your program is having. That is the point of having a salon in someone's home. And again, I can't emphasize this enough. You try to get people to commit to come down and visiting your program while it's in action. So make sure you're utilizing and embracing the impact of a small gathering the way that you could, because you can't do this at a big gala. You can't go around the room and have intimate conversations with individuals and talk about the impact that your program is doing when you have to talk to 3 or 4 or 5 other people who's waiting to talk to you. So make sure you take advantage of the small gathering of a salon. And finally, and likely one of the most important things, is follow up. That's the most important thing. So really make sure you follow up with the individuals. The first thing you want to do is you want to thank the host for having this event at their home. Next, you want to thank everyone for coming out to visiting their home and learning about your program. Right after that, you want to get them to come down and visit your facilities in action. So you ask the host to help organize bringing a group down and visiting your facilities, as well as individuals to come down by themselves, because some people like to come down as an individual by themselves to visit your facilities. You want to do both situations. And then after that, you really want to make sure you're following up with those individuals that said that they're going to come down. Also, with your congregants or individuals that come down that have not seen your facilities and only show up on Sundays, you want to do the same thing. You really want to make sure that they honor their commitment as much as you can in a respectful way, that they come down and visit the facilities. That's when you turn the corner. Once they start seeing the impact of their support, they get much more involved and they write larger checks because they know they're making a difference with your programs. They feel it, they see it with their hands. A lot of times when I'm telling people about salons and I'm saying, hey, you need to have salons, and and it's like, great, we get to have a fundraiser in someone's home. And I'm saying, no, it's not that. Then they're like, well, when do we get the money? When do we get the money? Again, as I mentioned earlier, the money is after they come down and see what it is you're doing. Keep that in mind. And one of the big factors of that fact is that it really opens up the door with many more hosts willing to do that in their homes. When they know that you're not going to be pressing people to write checks in their home, in their own living room, they're far more open to having an event at their home. And you even encourage people, hey, tell them this is not a fundraiser. This is an information sharing event that we're just telling you about the programs that we're doing in our community, and we'd love to get your input to see if you're interested in getting involved. It's leave your checkbooks at home And that really just opens the door. People come in far more relaxed and their minds are wide open to hear what it is you have to say. So when people say, when will I get the check? When is the money? It's a little bit later, but the checks are a lot larger. So just keep that in mind. So if you're looking to really change the game, if you're really looking to open up and gain new supporters of your programs, salons are a game changer. They just are. People come, they see what it is you're doing, and they get involved in a stress-free, wonderful, intimate gathering environment. So if you're trying to change the game, if you're really trying to push the needle, consider having a salon. They really make a difference. When we started doing salons with some of the organizations that I was working with, we threw out all of the other ways that we were looking at of trying to get new donors into our donor database. We started relying solely on salons because they did the job. So I really encourage you moving forward to consider to add salons to your arsenal of support. So that's it for our video today. And remember to like and subscribe to our channel for more tips and tricks into raising more money to increase the impact of your ministry.